Okay, welcome to a lesson today on houses and property. Property means a house. When you are thinking of buying a new property, you're thinking of buying a new house. Property can also mean anything that belongs to you. So all of these things which are furniture and objects, they're also things which belong to you. They're also property in a way. So this word can mean a couple of different things. It can mean objects, it can also mean houses. Okay, let's start with places in a house which maybe you haven't heard of before. A utility room. There is a utility room in this house. They're usually very small, and not always though, they don't have to be, but they're the place where you keep your washing machine, and it's a place where you wash your clothes, basically. In our utility room, we've got a washing machine and we've got a sink. And so you can also do your washing up, or perhaps you can hand wash your clothes if you want to. Okay, let's look at these 4 rooms now. Attic and loft are at the top of the house. We have a loft up above there. And the only difference between attic and loft is that attic is living. It's usually got windows. A loft doesn't have windows. It's usually just a place for storing things, and perhaps it will have a water tank like my one does. So that's the difference. I have a loft. I don't have an attic. I couldn't put a bed up there and live there, but an attic will often, you'll be able to have windows and a bed. Now the same again for basement and cellar, but they're under the house. So basement is for living in. You'll often have a little window in a basement room, but cellar isn't really for living in. There are no windows, and it's often where you keep your wine if you're a wine enthusiast. So yeah, there's like the kind of difference between living, non-living. That's an easy way to remember it. Landing is a place which is like a hall, but at the top of the stairs. When you have a little space at the top of the stairs, we have one just outside that door, a landing. It's a little space at the top of the stairs which is like a hall, which leads off into all the doorways, usually bedrooms, around you. So hall is the same as landing, but just on the ground floor, really. It's the hallway is between all the other rooms. Porch is just outside the front door, and it often has a little roof of its own, a ledge which will keep the person dry, and it has a doormat very often which you ought to wipe your feet on if you want to make sure you don't get your dirty shoes all over the house. Okay, pantry and larder, they're both places full of food. They're for keeping food stored in a cool place, but larder's usually a cupboard, a big cupboard, and pantry's usually a room. I don't have a pantry, unfortunately. I don't think many people have these nowadays. But maybe you might have a larder. You might have a big cupboard full of food. Okay, terrace and patio is the part of a garden which is covered as stone or concrete. And it's a part for sitting on. You usually have the chairs and tables on the terrace, on this hard part. Maybe you even have a little roof or canopy to keep the sun away from the person who's sitting there. So they're nice places in summer, the terrace and the patio. I prefer grass though. Okay, the shed is a little wooden object which is in the garden. We also have one, and it's where we keep our bikes, but a lot of people might keep tools there or stuff for the garden. They might keep their lawnmower there, maybe a strimmer. Garage is where you keep your car, and I think everybody knows toilet, but loo is another word for toilet. Okay, a detached house is a house which doesn't have a house on either side. Okay, it doesn't have anything on either side. A terraced house has houses on both sides. So it's one in the middle of 2 other houses which are joined. You share a wall with 2 other houses. And semi-detached means you only share a wall with 1 other house. Cottage is a detached house in the village, usually. I mean, it's a rural place. It's not an urban place. So it's far away from the town, out in the village, a nice, beautiful, detached house. A bungalow is a house which doesn't have any stairs, so it only has 1 floor. Usually older people live in a bungalow because it's easier for them to walk around. They don't have to get up the stairs. Council housing is cheaper housing which it was built by the local government to house people who perhaps couldn't afford other housing. But some of it's private now because a lot of it was sold off to private people in the 1980s. A studio flat is a flat with only one room. It may have a separate kitchen and bathroom, but one room as a living room and bedroom all at the same time. One living space, basically. A 2-bed flat will have 2 bedrooms, and a flat with 2 beds and 2 reception rooms. Reception rooms means places for receiving guests. So dining room is a reception room and living room is a reception room. And so it's just saying that it's got 2 bedrooms and then 2 more rooms where you can receive people. Okay, outside you can have a path in your garden, which is often concrete, but doesn't have to be. You could have a hedge, which is a bush, which shows the limits of your property. It may not show the limits of your property, it may just be a bush. You can use hedge like bush, but we often use it like a fence, which means a bush which shows the edge of the property. A fence is wooden, it's not a plant, and it shows the limits of your garden. The gate is where you open, it's usually how you go into the garden, by the side of the house, and you use the gate to walk into the back garden. A wall is made of stone, it's not made of wood like a fence, and a letterbox is where you get your mail. Now let's look at furniture and stuff, general objects around the house. So some people prefer curtains and some people prefer blinds. Curtains are where you have 2 which come together in the middle, 2, and you draw the curtains if you want to close them, and you undraw the curtains if you want to open them. So you can just say close and open, but I wanted to make you aware of draw because I thought it was quite a strange expression. Draw the curtains and undraw the curtains. However, you may prefer blinds, which could be the Venetian type, which are often seen on offices and things like that, and you can open them and close them like that. But the blinds are also, we have some Roman blinds downstairs and they're very nice. I like them a lot. You pull them down and they sit at the top, and you then use the strings to take them back up. But they're certainly very different from curtains. Okay, wallpaper is where you have paper on the walls and not paint. A lot of people in England like carpets on the floors. I think in other countries very often they prefer wooden surfaces on the floors, or perhaps even plastic. But in England you see a lot of carpet. And you do see a lot of rugs as well, which is like a small carpet. It doesn't go to the edges of the room. It could be still quite big, but it doesn't go all the way to the edge like a carpet. Okay, you always should wipe your feet on the doormat if you want to impress the host. You can also recline on the sofa if you want to relax. Recline just means go back, lay back on the sofa or on the armchair. You ought to water your plants if you don't want them to die. So water just means pour water on top of them. You can turn on or turn off the taps if you want to wash. You can turn on the radiator if you want to get warm. Maybe you want to turn on all the radiators, so you turn on the central heating. You could also turn the central heating up or down, and then it means get hotter or get colder. Yeah, turn it up, maybe put it on 25 degrees and not 23 degrees. Okay, you ought to take out the rubbish once or twice a week, maybe more often, I don't know. If you're in the kitchen, you use a sink to wash up, but if you're in the bathroom, you use a wash basin to clean yourself. And I don't think English people are very strict about this. They might say sink for the bathroom, you never know, but sink technically is a kitchen, wash basin is bathroom. Okay, you pull out a drawer and you push in a drawer. So we have a chest of drawers. Every bedroom will have a chest of drawers, or most of them will, where you keep your t-shirts, your pants, your socks in different drawers. Okay, you hang up clothes in the wardrobe. The wardrobe is just here in my room. It's where your clothes are hanging up. And you put something in the cupboard and you take something out of the cupboard. Yeah, put something in, take something out of the cupboard. Okay, there's also a few other bits of furniture or machines. Washing machine washes clothes. Dishwasher washes dishes, plates, that kind of thing. A fridge is a place where you keep food cool, and a freezer is where you keep food frozen. So they are slightly different. Well, very different, really. The fridge is for milk and eggs, and the freezer is for your frozen food. An oven, you can bake a cake in the oven, or you can bake some bread, or maybe you want to roast a turkey or roast a chicken. The oven is for baking and roasting. But on top of the cooker, usually here you have the oven, and then on top of the cooker you'll often have 4 or 2 hobs. Now, hobs are where you boil or fry food in a saucepan or a frying pan. So you have the 4 hobs on top of the cooker. And by the way, a cooker is a machine, not a person. If you want to talk about the person, you say a cook. And that is a very common mistake, because teacher, doctor, lawyer, cooker doesn't work, unfortunately. English is illogical. Now, some more verbs. You can lock the door, always lock the door when you leave the house if you want to be safe, but you can also unlock the door. If your bulb breaks, if your bulb stops working, you can replace the bulb with a new bulb. You can also put something away, which just means tidy up. If you put the books away, you put them in the bookshelf. If you put your clothes away, you put them in the wardrobe or the chest of drawers. So put something away, it means put it in its place. Tidy it up. And you can also hoover up, which means take the hoover and do some vacuum cleaning. Now, I hope that's all clear. Please ask questions if you're unsure about any of these words under the video. And thanks very much for watching. I hope you all subscribe, and I hope I see you soon.